Welcome back. It was a good day of sales. So it would be roughly from 11 o'clock ish when I had everything packaged and ready to go, pretty much when the video was done, to now, which is 9 o'clock. There's 9 orders for 221, and it's all domestic. Pretty good. None of the 16, 18, $20, whatever it is, for the VATs or international in there. And I noticed yesterday as well, which I did not bring up, that of the 30 that went out, 2 were international. So I don't know if there's some sort of issue with the international program or visibility or whichever. However, the international sales have gone way down. And if you're not privy, you could go to your solds, go to all sales or all orders, whichever it is. And there's going to be an icon. What needs to be shipped out on the app does have a little box truck or globe. On the web page, it's the same thing as well. So when I'm on my tablet looking at what needs to go out, I'm using the web page on a tablet, of which I did bring up the app on a tablet to kind of go over very generically the way on how I utilize what's dubbed or colloquially known as sell-through or sell-through rate. Now you can use this in regards to what you're going to buy and if it does have a sell-through. Now, I don't mention those words exactly when I'm making videos, especially my source videos. I will usually just say it does have a selling history. A selling history, word this the right way, something that has sold within the parameters that you're looking at, either it be 30-day, 90-day, or using product research or Terapeak. If it is on there, and that's the tool in the time frame that you have, and there's sales in either of those settings, either 30-day, 90-day, 1 year, because on Terapeak on the app and on the website, you could adjust the time frame. If there's any that have sold, it has a sales history. To me, something that I'm looking up, just assuming they're all one-off. If one is sold and 3 are currently listed, that means that there are 4 at one time. 1 is gone. That means that 25% have sold. That's a sell-through. It's 25% of what has been listed has sold. That's the most basic way on how to explain that. When I'm scanning, so I could use my phone, but I had to use a tablet, plus it's a larger screen. So let's see how I can do this. All right. Pretty bright, so that's what's going out. All right, so here is the app, and it's going to look a little different depending on device. All right, so on here, we're going to pick this camera. And this is a much older I have no idea. I'll worry about that later. So let's go with this one here. Wow, this thing is so sloppy, so slow. All right, so it shows on scan that's coming up as a cassette. Well, that's not right. I'm going to try to find, maybe Jackie Gleason will come up. And since this thing, it's trying to pick up all this image in the background. All right, so I don't like the way on how this looks. When I'm on here as well, so while I'm on the app, I have a couple locks, at least 2 that are locked. It's always going to be price lowest first. I don't have it set on here. So then you would go down to customize, lockable filters. And then this will be locked. I don't want to see recently listed. I don't want to see nearest me. I want to see when I'm scanning what the lowest price is that they're listed for. Because even if a low mean is $10, that's a low mean. That's really not going to do a whole lot of good. Now, when I scan and it comes up 12-ish for the lowest priced, that's when I'll set it aside. I'll look at it a little more, or that's when I'll just go straight in and hit sold. All right, so we go here, and we'll go down to item location, and I will lock US. Now, when you scan, you may still see international listings, which is fine. You want to see those. I just don't want the app to be bringing up all the international ones because the prices are going to vary due to the VATs and shipping. And if something's listed internationally, let's just say it's in Sweden, and there's somebody in Sweden looking for a disc media or whatever you have, and they're in, why would they buy from you, which is going to cost them an extra $20 if they have one that's in Sweden? Don't not buy some of the stuff because of what you see internationally. If it's 50 cents and if it has a possible selling point of $15 or more, makes sense. There's those, and then the other is going to be the format. It's right here. And I'm just always going to put it on buy it now. The amount of auctions that there are anymore, or the amount of sales through auctions that there are anymore, is so few and far between. You may scan something and 10 come up total and 9 are buy it now. That one that's an auction is likely going to be extraordinarily underpriced. So I will lock that. Generally, when it shows, so you can see here, these are still popping up. And I don't like this. Usually I have it in a total up and down. So these, essentially 4. Lowest priced, buy it now, US. And if we're just going to go based off of the 4 that are listed under the criterion that I just put in, we go sold. There's 2 that have sold. There are 6 listed total of the 2, or of the 2 that are there. You add those 2 back to the 4, and now you have 6. 2 of 6 have sold. We can do this easier and say 1 of 3. So that's a 33% sell through. So when you see numbers, so if there were 6 that have sold and there's 4 listed, that's 10. That's a 60% sell through. That's one way how to consider. It's a white tablet, my hand just like that. That's one way how to determine sell through. In my opinion, I think people get too engrossed in the aspect of just the word sell through, because it does have a, I don't want to say an overbearing, but it does have a connotation to it that means if there are no solds, you shouldn't buy it. In some categories, that would absolutely make sense. If there's 100 listed and none have sold in 90 days, not a good idea. If there's 100 listed, none have sold in 90 days, and you paid $1, and you go in Terapeak and you see that there are 500 that have sold, and the minimum is $50, That's up to you, but that would be a make sense to buy it. The vast majority of what I buy, I don't really go off of sell through. I go off of a sales history. There could be 50 listed and 3 have sold. And if that price, just say a low end, is 15 bucks, and it's going to be 25 cents or 50 cents or even $1. The lowest prices are that $15 range. The lowest listed are 10, 11, 12. Can I wait that little time for it to sell? Caveat enter. Since I do the repricing the way I do, when I go in and I look at the items that I have listed, and if they are at least, like I did yesterday, if they're at least 3 months old, and if they have at least 3 views on the 30-day ticker, I will click that, and if they have 4 or 5 or more views total over the span of time of 3 months and longer, or 90 days, actually when you click it, it's going to be, it'll drag it down to 6 months, and you'll be able to see the 6 month, and then anything at that 90-day mark, you can't go to the 6 months anymore. That's usually my cutoff is. Some months are going to vary on the exact date because there's not exactly 30, well, all but 1 month has 30 days. But we're not going to do 30, 30, 30, 90, all that. You understand where I'm going. That will come down and get repriced. So if I buy something that has 50 listed and it's only sold a couple in 90 days and that price is that price range, and that has enough views over 90 days, we're going to take it down and reprice it by roughly 5%. Disc media comes down pretty much about 5%. Everything else is pretty much 10%. Books, 10. First class stuff, 10. Because when it goes into the next sell bracket, it's not going to be a total of 10%. It's going to be maybe 4 or 5 or 6% total of what it was before to what it is now, because it's more likely going in another sale bracket. So that is kind of a generic take or generic basis on sell through. And I don't want to sound pompous or arrogant or pretentious to do this. There are more specific jargon terms for that. And I would believe that one of them would just be called ratio. What is your ratio? It's like someone I was writing to and from about something on Facebook, and they kept saying that I was trying to say that something is based off multiples, of which I did not write that. I wrote percentage. 20 to 80%. And then this person is saying, oh, you're trying to say it's 2 to 8 times. Percentage of and multiples. Percentage of is a fraction below 1. Multiples are whole numbers times that whole number. Not what I was saying. So, or not what I was writing. So there's a difference in a ratio and a percent. So that ratio is going to be, there's a total of 3 listed and 1 is sold. That is a 1 sold to 4 total ratio. The percent, we go to quarters, and these maths tell me that 25% of what has been listed has sold. This Jackie Gleason, which I've had for a little while. Now, granted, when I scanned it, mine did not come up because I don't use the barcodes. So this entire explanation is now at 22 minutes, which is obviously going to be cut down quite a bit. The point of this video, as with what sold videos, is to find out what's sold. Hardcore DVD, 20. It's a Galaxy Ultimate or whatever the edition it is. The total experience, 30 bucks. This, whichever Latin Mass, just listed well, over the weekend, 16. This All Creatures DVD, 11. Blippi, Season 1, 25. Ike Quebec CD, 17. These two Homan Colas books, bulkier books. Right? You can see my hand. This To Live DVD, 22. DVD exercise. Ooh, it got dreary out there. Dark again. 17 for this. Had it for a while. But that's going to wrap that one up again. It's 221 of 9. So not quite. So 27. We're about there again. 27,980. 7,963, 240. So less than that. 26. But that's still that 200 mark. Enough for a video. Roughly where sales should be. The intro was kind of something I watched a video, and now I'm trying to even remember on who it was that they had mentioned something about sell through. It's one that I watch. I'm not disparaging them by any means. And I typed in there, I was like, you know what? Maybe that's what I'll bring up in this video, my next sales video. So to me, I don't use sell through per se. Again, I'm not being facetious by doing that. I use sales history. If something has sold. Now, if there's 50 listed, chances are I'm not even going to bother hitting solds. That's too much competition. If there's 50 listed and they're minimum 20, 25 bucks, yeah, likely I'll get it. But if there's 50 listed and the first just quick scroll on the app, that's going to be probably 10. And if just at that, I'm not seeing anything over that $10. The first 10 out of 50 are going to be 7 to 10 bucks. I'm not even going to bother. It's just going to sit around. Most of the stuff I have, there's probably 10 other listings. There's so little competition for a lot of the media stuff that I buy. I buy it because there's so little competition. That's factor one. And that's just on scan. When I get home and I type it, scan may show 6 listings. I come home and I type it and there's 8. Whoop-dee. But after I type it and I hit sold and see that 3 have sold over 90 days, where do I want to price mine? Oh, is there a difference in the solds of one sold for 10, the other sold for 20, and the other one sold for 44, and they're all used? Yeah, I'm going to go into Terapeak and I'm going to see on where that the actual better price value is at. Is it likely to sell at that $40 range, or was that a fluke, or was it just somebody ordered and never paid type thing? That's what I'll use Terapeak for, so I can determine that. That's why a lot of stuff I have, I will dub the words that I can command price. Commanding price because you have better pictures. You have something that's much, much cleaner and much better condition. There's all different types of things that I've discussed command price before, and I'm not going to do it in this video. Now, I haven't done one in a while. Maybe I'll do it in a few days, kind of explain on how you can command a higher price and still have your sell over others at a higher price, a much higher price. What is it that just sold? That Kathy. The Kathy Lite. So there was that one and the Kathy Ice. The Ice one was right about at that average price range. But the Lite one that sold for 80 bucks, that's the third highest in Terapeak history. And the last ones that sold for above that were 2 years ago. So how is it that I was able to command that $80 when of the 50 that have sold, all but 3 were pretty much in this $50, $60 range? That's commanding price. So that's going to wrap this one up. Like what you heard, like what you saw. Buy me thingy, comment, sub, share. It's all free. Helps me. Helps you. helps other people. A little bit of behind the scenes philanthropy. Appreciate it. Thank you.